Preparing for coexistence. Dozens of Israeli officials convened in a hotel conference room in Jerusalem on Tuesday as part of a trilateral religious coexistence working group between Israel, the United States, and the UAE aimed at expanding the 2020 Abraham Accords.
The goal is to take the big message of the Abraham Accords and of cooperation, in this case between the United States, the United Arab Emirates, and Israel, and to bring it to the level of the people, education systems in those countries. I think this is one of the biggest challenges that arises from these accords, but also one of the biggest opportunities.
The working group was announced last October at the first trilateral meeting of the foreign ministers of all three countries, and was launched in March in Dubai with the goal of promoting interfaith dialogue and countering religious intolerance. Tuesday saw the first get-together of the Israeli team aimed at finding ways to achieve this ambitious goal.
In order to do that, we think that P2P relations is very important, and this is what we're trying to do with our partners from the USA and from the UAE. We will have some projects involving youth and involving religious leaders, involving people dealing with innovation. It won't be only at our level, but we will really try to have the people speaking to each other and see what can be done for the sake of all the peoples of the region.
The main challenge that arose from the meeting was how to bring these big slogans down to the ground, to concrete steps, to build bridges.
You do it by action, by creating peace, by showing that you're serious about looking inside yourself, looking what you're doing wrong, and how you're doing wrong towards the other, and by solving problems, by saving lives.
Rabbi Michael Melchior, who for decades has been engaged in interfaith dialogue, pointed out his years-long friendship with Sheikh Mohammed bin Abdul Karim El Issa. El Issa has been under fire over his involvement in interfaith dialogue, including a visit to Auschwitz 2 years ago, and more recently over a speech he gave during the centerpiece event of this year's Hajj, in which he called for maintaining positive relations with all faiths and religions.
He is, I think, really the greatest leader today of the Muslim world, is taking courageous stands all over the world and fought for things which he believes in. And this has become a courageous relationship which has grown stronger and stronger through actions.
But there are other challenges, too. A recent survey by the Washington Institute shows that more than 2/3 of citizens in Bahrain, Saudi Arabia, and the UAE view the Abraham Accords in a negative light, less than 2 years after they were signed in Washington. Support for the Accords went down from 40% to roughly 20%. But Elazar Stern, whose intelligence ministry is spearheading the Israeli team, along with the foreign ministry, isn't too concerned.
In my opinion, this only emphasizes the importance of these initiatives. We know that in many things, there's initial enthusiasm and then a drop, and then it rises again. Our job is to, of course, raise the support, not back to 40%. Let's take it to 60 and 80%. That's the goal of this group in our meeting here today.